Hello, hello! Pete's Packs here, and we're back with Modern Horizons 3, Commander Deck 2, Collector's Edition. This is Creative Energy, the Jeskai deck. So let's take a look at what's in here. Now, we discovered in the previous deck that there is a little bit of disappointment with these, in that there is a generic life counter. So we got 2 tokens, 6 counters, which we used to get like 14. Even like last year, I think we had like 9 counters in any given deck. It is what it is. We have a folded, or folding tuck box that is themed, and then a completely unthemed life counter. Which, all of those cost-cutting measures. Really nice deck box. As far as the design, deck box itself isn't the best, but it is a tuck box. Then we have our Collector's Booster Sample Pack, which we'll be opening those up eventually. With the price of these Commander decks right now, it might be a bit before we get the full 16 or 20, which is what I normally like to do. We have our insert, some nice art, a little blurb about the deck, overview of commander rules. Then another nice portrait of the face commander, which is Satya, Aetherflux Genius. Nice. And a couple of ads. Alright. So we got that done. Envelope of goodness. Wait. Now we'll get to the star of the show, which is the deck. Get that. And a bit. There we go. All right. So we got this nice special ripple foil, whatever it's called. We have a showcase commander. It's Satya, Aetherflux Genius. So 1 blue, red, white, so Jeskai colors. We have a 3/5 legendary human artificer with menace and haste. That's pretty nice. Whenever it attacks, create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of up to 1 other non-token creature you control. You get 2 energy. Beginning of your next end step, sacrifice that token unless you pay an amount of energy equal to its mana value. So I have seen this showing up in Vintage Cube quite a bit lately, and it's pretty busted. Haven't seen it show up in Legacy yet. Or Vintage, but we also haven't had a whole lot of things to do that, but this seems like a really powerful card. Alright, next we have Keith, Famed Mechanist. 1 blue, red, white, so also Jeskai colors. We have a 3/3 legendary dwarf artificer with Fabricate 1. Other non-token creatures you control have Fabricate 1. Nice. So that means when it comes in, it either enters with a +1/+1 counter, or you can either put a +1/+1 counter on it or make a 1/1 servo, I believe it is. And then 2, tap, choose 1, populate or proliferate. It's pretty sweet. Alright, now onto the rest of the deck. We have Jolted Awake. For white, you have a sorcery. Choose up to 1 target artifact or creature card in your graveyard. You gain 2 energy. Then you may pay an amount of energy equal to that card's mana value. If you do, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield, cycling for 2. This is almost reanimate once you have enough energy. So that's pretty crazy. Bespoke Battle Wagon. 3 and a blue for a 5/6 artifact vehicle. Tap, you gain 2 energy. 2 energy counters. Tap, pay 2 energy. Tap target creature. Tap, pay 3 energy. Draw a card. Or pay 4 energy, and Bespoke Battle Wagon becomes an artifact creature until end of turn, and crew 4. Nice. Let's see if we can get this to focus a little better. There we go. Royal Cartographer. 1 and a blue for 1/3 Merfolk Rogue with landfall. Enters the battlefield under your control, gain an energy. Tap, pay 6 energy, draw 3 cards. Nice. Unstable Amulet. I've seen this played a little bit in the new Raw Storm, or the new Ruby Storm. 1 in a red artifact. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 2 energy. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Tap, pay 2 energy, exile the top card of your library. You play it until you exile another card with Unstable Amulet. It's pretty cool. Amped Raptor. 1 in a red for 2/1 dinosaur with first strike. Whenever it enters, you gain 2 energy. Then if you cast it from your hand, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card. You may cast that card by paying an amount of energy equal to its mana value rather than paying its mana cost. That's pretty sweet. Solar Transformer. 2 mana artifact. Enters the battlefield tapped. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you get 3 energy. Tap for colorless. Tap, spend an energy, add 1 mana of any color. I could see this becoming a new staple mana rock. That is a pretty strong card, at least for Commander. I don't know about how it'll be played in Modern. Scurry of Gremlins. 2 red white enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 red gremlin creature tokens. Then you get an amount of energy equal to the number of creatures you control. Pay 4 energy. Creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. Nice. Nice little token payoff there, or energy payoff rather, for tokens. Is it Generatorium? Generator. Yeah, Generatorium. Blue-red for an artifact. If you would get 1 or more energy, you gain that many +1 instead. Okay. Tap, draw a card. Activate only if you've paid or lost 4 or more energy this turn. That's an interesting one. Talisman of Conviction. It's the red-white talisman. 2 mana artifact. Taps for a colorless, and then you can tap to add a red or a white, and it deals 1 damage to you. Tezzeret's Gambit. 3 and a Phyrexian blue. Sorcery. Draw 2 cards and proliferate. Nice. Phyrexian mana can be paid with either its color or 2 life. Is it Boilerworks? It is the blue-red Karu. Enters tapped. When it enters, you return a land you control to your hand, and taps for blue-red. Azorius Chancery, same thing but for blue-white. Talisman of Progress, it's the blue-white talisman. Command Tower, taps for your commander's color identity. Burnished Heart, used to be a staple, it's kind of fallen off lately. 3 mana 2/2 for an 3 mana 2/2 artifact creature elk. For 3, and you sacrifice it, search your library for up to 2 basics, put them into the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Arcane Signet, I don't know what this does, but 2 mana artifact, taps for your commander's color identity. Soul Ring, 1 mana artifact that taps for 2. Sphinx of the Revelation, this is another one of the new ones. 3 white blue for 4/5 artifact creature Sphinx with flying and lifelink. Whenever you gain life, You get that many energy. White, blue, tap, pay X energy, draw X cards. Of course, this being a reference to Sphinx's Revelation. Filigree Racer. 3 in a red for a 5/5 artifact vehicle. When it enters, you gain 4 energy. Whenever it attacks, pay 2 energy. You may pay 2 energy. When you do, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains jumpstart until end of turn. Through 1. Localized Destruction. 3 white sorcery. You get 1 energy, then you may pay 1 or more energy. If you do, each creature you control with power equal to the amount of energy paid this way gains indestructible until end of turn. Destroy all creatures. Huh, it's just equal to. That's interesting. Aether Refinery. 4 red artifact. If you would get 1 or more energy, you gain twice that many energy instead. Tap, you gain an energy, then you may pay 1 or more energy. If you do, create a XX black Aetherborn creature token, where X is the number of energy paid this way. Okay. Hourglass of the Lost. 2 and a white artifact. Tap, add a white, put a time counter on it. Tap, remove X time counters from Hourglass of the Lost and exile it. Return each non-land permanent card with mana value X from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. So it just automatically gets back all your 0 drops when you play. Well, you can immediately use it to get back 0 drops. Salvation Colossus. 6 white for a 9/9 artifact creature construct. Flying, Vigilance, Trample. Whenever you attack, other creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain indestructible until end of turn. Unearth, pay 8 energy. It's weird templating on that too. Blaster Hulk. 6 red for an 8/8 artifact creature pirate. That's odd, but it's not also a construct. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each energy you've paid or lost this turn. Haste. Whenever it attacks, you get 2 energy, then you may pay 8 energy. When you do, Blaster Hulk deals 8 damage divided as you choose among up to 8 targets. That's pretty nasty. Razorfield Ripper. 2 and a white for a 3/3. Artifact creature equipment Rhino. Whenever it or an equipped creature attacks, you gain an energy. Then it gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the amount of energy you have. That's pretty nuts. Reconfigure. Pay 2 or pay 3 energy. That's an interesting one. Silverquill Lecturer. 4 and a white for a 3/3 core wizard. Creature spells you cast have demonstrate. That's a fun one. So when you play it, demonstrate, I believe when you play it, you get to copy it twice. If you do, though, you have to have an opponent copy it. Or to copy it, and then if you have an opponent, you can have an additional copy if you have an opponent copy it. I don't remember exactly the wording on demonstrate. Overclocked Electromancer. 2 and a red for a 2/2 Lizard Wizard. Lizard Wizard. It's Lizwiz. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay 3 energy. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on Overclocked Electromancer. Whenever it attacks, double its power until end of turn. And whenever it deals combat damage to a creature, if that creature was dealt damage this turn, you gain X energy, where X is that excess damage. Whenever it deals combat damage to a creature, if that creature was dealt excess damage this turn. Okay. Makes more sense. Stone Idol Generator, 5 mana artifact. Whenever a creature you control attacks, you gain an energy. Tap, pay 6 energy, create a 6/12 colorless construct artifact creature token with trample. Activate only as a sorcery. Aurora Shifter. Ooh, that is pretty. I really like the foil on it. 1 in a blue for a 1/3 shapeshifter. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you gain that many energy. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay 2 energy. When you do, Aurora Shapeshifter becomes a copy of another target creature you control, except it has this ability, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you get that many energy. Okay. They could have templated that better. Conversion Apparatus. 3-mana artifact, tap for a colorless, 3 and tap, 3 and tap, you get 3 energy. Tap, pay 3 energy, add 3 mana of any combination of colors. That's pretty cool. Gonti's Aether Heart. 6 mana legendary artifact. I feel like this one, I'm almost certain this was originally in Kaladesh. 6 mana artifact. Whenever Gonti's Aether Heart or another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you get 2 energy. Pay 8 energy, exile Gonti's Aether Heart, take an extra turn after this one. I feel like that's a reprint. Lightning Runner, 3 red for 2/2 human warrior with double strike and haste. Whenever it attacks, you get 2 energy. And then you may pay 8 energy. If you pay, untap all creatures you control, and then after this phase, there's an additional combat phase. Okay. Aethertide Whale. Whale. 4 blue for a 6/4 whale with flying. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you get 6 energy. Pay 4 energy, return Aethertide Whale to its owner's hand. Okay, there's probably something there, I'm just not seeing it. Aether Geode Miner, 1 and a white for a 3/1 dwarf scout. Whenever it attacks, you get 2 energy. Pay 2 energy, exile it, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's hand, under its owner's control. So you can blink it for 2 energy. This is a reprint. Don't exactly remember if it was from Aether Revolt or Kaladesh. Aether Sphere Harvester. Oldie but a goodie. 3 mana, 3/5 artifact vehicle with flying. When it enters the battlefield, get 2 energy. Pay an energy, it gains lifelink until end of turn. Brew 1. This used to be just one of the primo cards after Aether Revolt came out. Quite often, games would just be 2 Aether Sphere Harvesters flying past one another. Bident of Thassa. 2 blue for a legendary enchantment artifact. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. 1 in a blue, tap. Creatures your opponent control attack this turn if able. So, good way of controlling your opponent's creatures and throwing cards. Temple of Enlightenment. It's the blue-white temple. Enters tapped. When it enters, you scry 1, taps for a blue and a white. Battlefield Forge. It's the red-white Painland. Taps for a colorless, and then tap for a red or a white, and it deals 1 damage to you. Nice. Mirror Battlesphere. This is a fun one. 7 mana, 4/7 artifact creature Mirror Construct. Whenever it enters the battlefield, create 4 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature tokens. Whenever it attacks, you may tap X untapped mirror you control. If you do, Mirror Battlesphere gets +X/+O until end of turn and deals X damage to the player or planeswalker it's attacking. Very nice. Great reanimate target too. Grenzo Havoc Razor. Red for a 2/2 legendary Goblin Rogue. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, choose one. Goad target creature that player controls. Exile the top card of that player's library. Until end of turn, you may cast that card, and you may spend mana or any color to cast that spell. Very nice. Pretty popular commander, or at least it used to be. Brutaclad, Telcor Engineer. 4 blue-red, a 4/4 legendary artifact creature, Phyrexian Artificer. Oh, that is such tiny text. Creature tokens you control have haste. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 2/1 blue Phyrexian Mirror artifact creature token. Then you may choose a token you control. If you do, each other token you control becomes a copy of that token. Okay, so if you make token copies of things, it's pretty solid. Coveted Jewel. Hey. Vintage staple at this point. 6-mana artifact. When it enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards. Tap, add 3 mana of any one color. And whenever one or more creatures an opponent controls attack you and aren't blocked, that player draws 3 cards and gains control of Coveted Jewel. Untap it. That's pretty sweet. Goldspan Dragon. Hey, this guy was really good. In the previous standard, 3 red for a 4/4 dragon with flying and haste. Whenever it attacks or becomes the target of a spell, create a treasure token. Treasures you control have tap, sacrifice this artifact, add 2 mana of any one color. Nice. Legion Loyalty. 6 white enchantment. Creatures you control have Myriad. Whenever a creature with Myriad attacks, for each opponent other than the defending player, you may create a token that's a copy, or a token copy that's tapped and attacking that player or planeswalker they control. Exile the tokens at the end of combat. Very nice. Mystic Gate. Taps for colorless, and then for a hybrid white-blue, taps for either white-blue, or blue-blue. Great way to filter your mana. Akroma's Will. This one takes me back. 3 and a white instant. Choose one. If you control a commander as you cast this, you may choose both instead. This is a different card than what I thought it was. Creatures you control gain flying vigilance, and double strike until end of turn. Creatures you control gain lifelink, indestructible, and protection from each color until end of turn. That's pretty sweet. I imagine most of the time you're going to be picking the second one if you're playing this defensively, and the first one if you're playing it offensively. Let's see. Adakar Waste. Very nice. Ooh, that's pretty. That's a really pretty Adakar Waste. Taps for colorless, and then tap for a blue or white, and it deals 1 damage to you. Era of Innovation. 1 in a blue enchantment. Whenever an artifact or artificer enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1. If you do, get 2 energy. Pay 6 energy, sacrifice Era of Innovation, draw 3 cards. Ooh, Shivan Reef. Very, very pretty Shivan Reef, too. Taps for colorless, taps for blue or red, deals 1 damage to you. It's a pain land. Volition Relic. Nice. 3 mana artifact, taps for 1 mana of any color, and you can tap to put a charge counter on it. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, remove all charge counters from Coalition Relic, and add 1 mana of any color for each charge counter removed this way. Nice. Combustible Gearhulk. 4 red for a 6/6 artifact creature construct with first strike. Whenever it enters the battlefield, target opponent may have you draw 3 cards. If the player doesn't, you mill 3 cards. Then Combustible Gearhulk deals damage to that player equal to the total mana value of those cards. This was a fun card when it was in standard. Because it messed with people. And you could just dome someone for 18 out of nowhere, potentially. Sometimes more. Sometimes it could be 0 if it was 3 lands, but if you hit 3 Gearhulks, it's pretty cool. So a lot of the time people would have you draw the cards instead. Aetherworks Marvel. This card was the scourge of Standard when it was in. Because it was not uncommon to be able to play this on turn 4 and be able to immediately put an Ulamog. Pretty sure it's Ulamog. Yeah, Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger into play. And you were casting it, so you got the exile. So it was silly. This card was silly. And I still hate this card from that time. It was absolutely degenerate and so frustrating to play against. Because even if you had an answer to it, a lot of the time it didn't matter. But yeah, Aetherworks Marvel, 4 mana legendary artifact. Whenever a permanent you control is put into a graveyard, you get an energy. Tap, pay 6 energy, look at the top 6 cards of your library, you may cast a spell from among them without paying its mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Angel of Invention. This was a fun one. 3 white for a 2/1. Creature Angel with Flying, Vigilance, Lifelink, and Fabricate 2. Other creatures you control get +1/+1. Confiscation Coup. This was actually a really fun card at the time too, in Standard. 3 blue, sorcery. Choose target artifact or creature. You get 4 energy. Then you may pay an amount of energy equal to that permanent's mana value. If you do, gain control of it. Yay. Aetherstorm Rock. 2 white for a 3/3 creature bird with flying. Whenever it or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you get an energy. Whenever it attacks, you may pay 2 energy. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on it and tap up to 1 target creature defending player controls. Aetherskull Ancient. 5 blue for a 6/6 Leviathan with flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, you get 3 energy. Pay 8 energy, return all other creatures to their owner's hands, activate only as a sorcery. Yeah. Really fun finisher. Was pretty crazy. It's in Standard. Frostboil Snarl. When it enters the battlefield, you may reveal an island or mountain from your hand. If you don't, it enters tapped. Taps for a blue or red. Austere Command. One of the primo pieces of white removal that have been printed over the years, but 4 white sorcery. Choose 2. Destroy all artifacts, enchantments, creatures with mana value 3 or less, or creatures with mana value 4 or greater. Fury Calm Snarl. It is the red-white Snarl. Midnight Clock. 2 and a blue, artifact. Taps for a blue. 2 and a blue, put an hour counter on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, at the beginning of each upkeep, not just yours, put an hour counter on it. When the 12th hour counter is put on it, shuffle your hand, graveyard, and library, then draw 7 cards, exile Midnight Clock. Very nice. A fun card that's like almost Time Twister, but for... like it's almost a delayed Time Twister. It's also a mana rock. Like it's a fun card. Professional Facebreaker. 2 and a red for a 2/3 human warrior with menace. Keep in mind this is currently in Standard. Doesn't rotate for another month or so, I think. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. Sacrifice a treasure. Exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Farewell. He also rotates along with Professional Facebreaker. 4 white sorcery. Choose 1 or more. Exile all artifacts, creatures, enchantments, or graveyards. Port Town. Same as with the Snarls, except this was the original run. Enters, you may reveal a plains or island. If you don't, it enters taps for a blue or a white. Temple of Triumph. It's the red-white temple. Solemn Simulacrum. 4 mana 2/2 artifact creature Golem. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. When it dies, you may draw a card. Just good, solid card. Temple of Epiphany, it is the red-white, or the red-white, it's the blue-red temple. Prairie Stream, it's a plains island that enters tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. Nice. Oh, I like the new templating on that. It's nice. Skyclave Apparition. 1 white for 2/2 core spirit. Whenever it enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target non-land, non-token permanent you don't control with mana value 4 or less. When it leaves the battlefield, the exiled card's owner creates an XX blue illusion creature token where X is the mana value of the exiled card. So keep in mind they never get the card back. Like, this is just, it's exiled. And if you exile a 0/0, they just get a 0/0. Or you exile a 0 drop, they just get a 0/0. It's something to consider. Castle Vantress. It's a land that enters tapped unless you control an island. Tap for a blue, and then 2 blue, tap, scry 2. Great way to set up your draws. Aether Hub. These had actually creeped up in price quite a bit for a while. When it enters the battlefield, you get an energy. Tap for a colorless, and then tap, pay an energy, add 1 mana of any color. That's almost a City of Brass if you're making a lot of energy. I guess it's a strictly better one if you're making a lot of energy. Decoction Module. 2 mana artifact. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you get an energy. 4 tap, return target creature you control to its owner's hand. Glimmer of Genius. This was such a good draw spell at the time. 3 and a blue, instant, scry 2, then draw 2 cards. You get 2 energy. Whirler, we've got like half the half the old Teamer energy deck in here apparently. Whirler Virtuoso. 1 blue-red for a 2/3 Vidalcan Artificer. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you get 3 energy. Pay 3 energy, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. Talisman of Creativity. It's the blue-red talisman. 2 mana artifact, taps for colorless, and then taps for a blue or red and deals 1 damage to you. Swords to Plowshares. Best piece of removal ever printed. For a white, you get an instant. Exile target creature, its controller gains life equal to its power. Wayfarer's Bauble. 1 mana artifact. 2, tap and sacrifice it. Search your library for a basic land. Put it on the battlefield tap, then shuffle. Demolition Field. It's a land that taps for colorless, and then 2, tap and sacrifice it. Destroy target non-basic land an opponent controls. That land's controller may search your library for a basic land card. Put it on the battlefield tapped. Shuffle. You may search your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped, and shuffle. Mystic Monastery. It's the Jeskai Wedge land. Enters tapped, taps for Jeskai colors, so blue, red, white. And we have our basics. We have 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 planes. Wow. We have some islands. We have 1, 2, 3 islands. Well, looks like we've got some more islands. 4 islands, 5 islands. We have some mountains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What? We have 20 basic lands? That doesn't seem right. Then we have another Satya Aetherflux Genius card. A foil energy reserve with a non-foil serve. Oh, they have non-foil, like half foil tokens. I'm gonna have to double check that those lands are right. That doesn't seem right. Energy reserve, servo, Aetherborn, servo, illusion, Servo, Phyrexian Mirror, Servo, Foiled Treasure, copy, Gremlin, copy, copy, Gremlin, Copter, copy, Construct, Mirror, Aetherborn, Copter. Let's double check that. That seems like the wrong number of lands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mountains. 1, 2, 3, 5 islands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plains. Now what do we get for our other ones? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's 16, 17, 18. 18? $28. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3. 38 lands? That doesn't seem right. Let me know in the comments if that's the correct number of lands, because that doesn't seem right. It seems like something's wrong. But I also don't know for sure, one way or the other. But yeah. Well, thank you for joining me on this adventure. With creative energy. It's definitely, definitely an energy deck. How creative it is, but it is definitely an energy deck. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff for the algorithm. Really helps us out and makes it easier for me to bring more awesome videos like this to all of you. And not gonna lie, these things are expensive, so helps keep me motivated. Yeah. It costs you nothing and helps keep me going. Yeah. Until next time, stay awesome. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.